this at the bottom. Okay. Yeah. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 7 p.m. Yes. Good evening. It's good to have you here this evening, and also those who are logging in remotely. It's good to have you here with us as well. We have some people missing here on our board because of some reasons. Hopefully some will come in a little later. But I wanted to go forward and I don't think we had anyone who'd wanted to share anything on the public comment area, so I wanted to go ahead and go to the exemplary nights because we have a lot of kids here this evening. And then we'll go back to our agenda. But every month now, and some of you have been seeing that also put onto the website, on the monthly newsletter, through the district newsletters from each building. You've also saw where they share about who the exemplary students are and the staff for their buildings. We only call them up here by name, but it's always good to read those and see exactly what is so exemplary about each one of those students and the staff, and there's a reason why they are picked tonight. We realize that's a struggle with everything that's going on with COVID still yet. We realize at home it's still a struggle, and we appreciate the effort that not only the students are putting forth for their education, but also the parents at home that are helping them get that way as well. We'd like to start with the Blue Ridge High School and work backwards this time. That seemed to work out. That way we make sure all the taller people are in the back row. But we have here this evening with us that we'd like to recognize for their hard work in the school. One is Connor Otto. If you'd come up, please. And just come up here and stand in front of the table. We also have here this evening Sammy Bogren. Eighth grader Andrew Schumacher, I don't think is able to be with us here this evening, so let's give him a virtual clap. We have a seventh grader, Drake Hardesty, is here tonight. Sixth grader is Hunter Pirtle. I don't think he's here this evening. Sebastian Cox from the fifth grade is not here as well. We give him a virtual clap. We have here a fourth grader, Emily Droz. Is she here? All right. Third grader, Abby Isaacs. I think I saw her come in. The second grader is Annabeth Sander is here as well this evening. Louders, I'm sorry, a first grader is unable to be here. Let's give it a virtual clap for. And we have, is it Lena Fleshner? Is here with us from kindergarten. We'll get a group picture here. All the parents here this evening want to get a picture, run up here. All right, thank you. As a Board of Education, we want to also thank the staff members who have really shown an effort and have a positive impact upon our district as well. And some of these are teachers, some of our paraprofessionals, some are just custodians, some are in the kitchen, which fits all that paraprofessionals nowadays. That's the terminology they use. But we appreciate all your effort as well and support that you give the district and to the students as well. We have here from the Blue Ridge High School this evening, Mike Smith. If you'd come up here and stand. You have to remain standing in front of the video board, okay? Everybody can see you. And Blue Ridge Intermediate Junior High School, Heather Wilcoxon. I don't think she's here this evening. Give her a virtual shout. And I think we have Chris Wells here from the Schneider Elementary. All right. Thank you, too, for your effort and support. Yeah. All right. I don't know if the staff get the goodie bags that the students get. Do they? Oh, the staff get the goodie bags. Okay. All right. So we'd like to move forward. If you're here this evening with your children, you want to leave, you need to get back home, that's fine. You can dismiss yourself. We want to get back onto the agenda here. And we have, first of all, Ginger Danner Duncan that would like to come forward. I think, do we have a microphone up there for her? I'd ask for the board members here, if you'd like anytime during the meeting to make a comment, be sure to press the button so it's green on your microphone and speak into it.
Hello and welcome, or I should say, I guess, thank you for letting me join in on the agenda again this evening. I wanted to come back to speak to everyone in regards to the equality for our kiddos within the school and also those that are homeschooled. I did some research and I did hear back from the superintendent. Thank you for your prompt reply. However, we didn't get an answer of yes, that our kiddos can come to the dances yet. And this is a very important thing for our kiddos. They've been playing sports for the school, just got done with soccer season. My son, who is a senior, just received an award for playing soccer for Blue Ridge. And one of the main things that he wanted to do after helping with the building of the float committee for the homecoming dance was attend the dance. However, he was not allowed to do so. And neither was his sister, who is a sophomore. We have been taxpayers for the past 20 years and have been supporting the Blue Ridge School District, and just want to go ahead and talk about equality, because I know I want to thank you. You guys work hard to make everything you can for our school wonderful, and that includes all of the kiddos within our school district, whether it be within the school or homeschooled. This category has also increased immensely because of 2020, a lot of kiddos kind of are homeschooling now too, so we have an even more of a community of homeschoolers that want to join in for certain activities that all of us as taxpayers pay for. I also did look up the student handbook for this year, which does mention that private and parochial students are not allowed to join in on extracurricular activities that might be in our school district, but homeschooled students should be allowed to attend all extracurricular activities and interscholastic competitions. Another reason that I was coming back, was to make sure that we can just go ahead and move forward so that, all homeschooled kiddos, if they come and go through the right process of asking, just like we used to before, get the right form. Parents, as parents, we sign it, they come to the dance and have a lot of fun with everyone, building that community stronger for all of the youth. That we can move forward and make sure that they're going to have a prom, because that's something as homeschooled student we can't replicate for our kiddos. There's many things that we try to and we can, but especially since they're playing sports for the school and representing the school district in every way possible, as positive as possible. This is one thing that's really important, and that's why I'm back, just to kind of see where we can open that back up and make sure that there's no issues for prom.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Did did you guys have, I guess I'm asking this, the school board, you know, since you've got a lot of information. I did actually look up, I have a couple of articles mentioning how important it is for children, especially nowadays. Screen time is a real issue, and statistics show that you know, kiddos that are called the iGen generation that have been born from about 2008-ish to 2012 have seen about a 56% decline in interaction and independence because of screen time. So I think this is another vital statistic on why homeschooling kids really need to be included in the community, because it helps all of the kids in school interact with more of our community, as well as the homeschooled kids to act with more of the community. And of course, positive activities for our youth help our future in a ton of ways, which is proven. And you know, the only thing that was mentioned was that, you know, there might be an issue with COVID. The recent articles from CDC, actually one that's out on Google literally today, has mentioned how everything is waning, and that, you know, kind of the herd immunity is really kicking in, and that everything is, you know, even with the new strand, we're all stronger and building up immunity. So that's not even an issue to have to even hopefully grapple with, but, you know, with guidelines that are, you know, with the mask and things, that's another thing that still helps to be face to face with kiddos, to, you know, attend things that are, and things that are getting them all together and they're actually interacting like this. You just can't duplicate this. Like, I can see Mr. Easter on the screen. I don't know if he can see me, but it's just not quite the same. So, yeah, so I'm back to see what we can do to make sure this can happen.
Well, Ginger, we have the policies, and you've actually alluded to one of them about the extracurricular activities, including interscholastic competition, which that is, they're allowed to be able to participate in that. I will say, as a school district, we've been pretty lax. Really, we have allowed some participation to take place that most districts would not with homeschooled. It doesn't matter if you're a taxpayer. It's if your child's enrolled in the school district themselves, if they have a the student number in the system, where they've actually, you know, if they want to enroll into a class, that guarantees that they can be a part of any of the on-school activities that are taking place, like a dance. Now, the dance, I don't know if you read into it. We can give it to you. I don't know if Dr. Staniford gave you the copy of this that states about dances. Dances are closed to everyone except Blue Ridge High School full-time students and their dates who have signed up prior to the dance. So it says full-time. We've actually allowed some students to come. We've been very, like I said, we've been lenient on this. What's happened is that doesn't fall into this category you brought up here. That's a whole different category, dances. And so the thing is that before...
So dances are not an extracurricular activity?
Well, the thing is, you have to go by the policy, which under dances, it has something stated here differently, okay?
So, okay, so that they had to sign the form to attend a dance with the full-time student, correct?
They had, yes, they come with a full-time student, which wasn't an issue as I
actually,
understand
that's
in the
what it
past.
was.
Right.
Right, that's what it was. Both of my children had friends that wanted to bring them
Correct.
that were full-time students.
Right.
And of course, we wanted to just sign the form and then have them attend. But then that didn't happen.
And if everything was going good, we didn't have COVID, there wouldn't have been another situation. But we're also, our hands are tied according to regulations that are passed down to us with the COVID, with the telling the schools that they couldn't have gatherings, and if you did, you can only have so many students come
through
in.
the health department, or?
Well, through all the regulations that we had through the COVID. And we don't know, that affected in 2020. We don't know how that's going to, and that affected also this year as well. But 2022, we don't know what that's going to look like. We don't know what's going to happen if the governor comes down again and puts the vice grip on us and regulates that, well, you can't have any gatherings over so many people. I don't know, it just sounds like maybe we need to show you clearer through the policies, the handbooks and everything, where we're coming from, our side of this. And if you need to sit down and meet with myself and Vice President and Dr. Stanifer and Brian Easter, the principal, and talk this through, we can explain
Oh,
it.
I did get the electronic copies of the current things, and I actually did call the DeWitt County Health Department today just to verify. There are no restrictions from our health department within this county, and that it's each an individual school board and school district that determines what they want to do for the school. So really, unless something comes directly from the governor, you know, where we would have some type of oddity happen by 2022, then that could change things, which is completely understandable. What I'm just asking for now and with the current situations is that we have that option, unless something with, you know, the health and mandates from the state of Illinois would change. Just that they would have the, you know, freedom to have, you know, if one of their friends wants to bring them, or, you know, they have a date that wants to bring them to the high school dance, that then we fill out the form and they can join in on that activity.
Right. Well, we appreciate you sharing your thoughts and your concerns. As far as telling you that your children are going to be able to attend the dance, I can't tell you that. No one here on this board is going to be able to sit here and tell you, yes, they can come this next school prom. I can't tell you that.
Can
don't
you
know what's
tell
gonna
me if
happen.
there's going to be a prom?
We don't know that.
Oh, when do you decide that part of
Well,
it for
I
the
guess we're going
school?
to, usually they only start planning as far as a date and everything. When is it?
Exact date of when we'll make that decision. There's a lot of unknowns due to COVID, but we will do our best and work with what regulations are current at that time to make the best decision to keep people safe.
Correct.
Well, shucks. Okay. Well, I'm really hoping to, I guess I'll see you again then, because this is so important to my kiddos. I can't replicate a prom.
Right.
That's the only thing. You know, I want to bring all the kiddos in, but the thing is, you know, this is one of the things that we as parents, no matter where we are in the school district and paying our taxes
Right.
to build these buildings, this is where the dance happens. So I thank you again for your time, and I look forward to speaking with you again. But if you do go ahead and get to talk about that, because I guess the thing with the equality issue was, you know, for homecoming, we had people come that were not registered or full-time students within our school district, but yet they got to come with a date and attend the homecoming dance. So I have a picture, you know, of someone that did that. And you know, that's a discrimination against any homeschool child within our district that was not allowed to go to the homeschool dance. You know, and that's what I know no one wants to happen. We all would never want to discriminate against our children.
I can't comment on that because I don't.
So-
I'm not privy to that information, what took place.
Oh, that's,
So-
well, when I mentioned it last meeting, that was a very important factor within it. And the fact that, you know, the football team was invited to attend the homecoming dance, and they had people from, you know, D-Land and other places. However, my children were all in the soccer team and did not have an extended invitation for attending the dance.
All right, well, we appreciate that. We'll take that in consideration, okay?
Okay, all right.
Thank you. We're going to move forward to communication.
Okay, we had an email that was sent to the board from Sandra Shelton. It was just talking about appreciating the board's efforts. And then we also had an email from Mrs. Nichols regarding some comments that were made about our increased substitute teacher pay. Some people were appreciative and wanting to consider coming to our district versus surrounding districts because of our increased substitute pay rate.
Let's see. That was part of that substitute pay.
Mm-hmm.
Any committee reports?
We were supposed to have a committee report. We should have had a finance committee meeting at 6 o'clock tonight. Auditors were not able to complete the AFR, so then I would instead say that there was no committee report to make.
ROE said we had okay to be late again.
They have not answered, but the auditor has said that, yes, we can be late if we need to be. It doesn't have to be board approved to be turned in. We'll turn it in as soon as they provide it to us, which should be about a week from now. and then we'll formally approve it by the board in January.
Moving on to administrative reports, Dr. Stanifer.
That would be me. So shield testing, just wanted to give you an update. There's a lot of work that goes on with shield testing, as the principals in the front row and on the TV would attest to. Secretaries are doing their fair share of the work, along with Deborah and transportation supervisor. One of our teacher does some of the driving as well, and so principals, secretaries, there's a lot of hands on deck. So what happens is, as a reminder, on Mondays, if anybody needs to do any testing because they're either ill or they're on the Test to Stay program, then all the principals have to do that separate testing with each individual child, click them into the system, get everything wrapped up, and get it to a central location so it can be driven to Bloomington, hopefully with our driver who goes to BACC. Then Tuesday, the parade starts at the high school, and Mr. Easter oversees probably well over 100 still that test every Tuesday at the high school. They pretty much know their routine, but as you can imagine, pulling 100 kids out of school or out of class for a couple minutes, it does do a little bit of interruption. And then Katie takes over on Wednesday. She has probably about 140 students who test on a weekly basis. And then Ryan is noticing some improvement with time, with the littlest ones spitting into a test tube, doing it in a quick fashion wasn't the easiest skill to obtain, but he reported this week that things are getting better. So the idea behind SHIELD is that we want to be able to catch any positive cases, perhaps asymptomatic cases, as soon as possible so we can stay as healthy as possible and keep as many kids in person as possible. I do want to say that early on, SHIELD was reporting that there would be a $10, we don't pay for SHIELD to happen. We've had to purchase a few supplies like the scanners to connect everything, test tube to the child into the system. We have purchased some of the special pens that's required to write on the test tube. Other than that, we order things, but they're free of charge. There was word at first from SHIELD that we would be paid $10 for every test that we completed ourselves versus when somebody comes into the building. That was then lowered to $8 per self-administered test, but I will report no money has been received to date. That was supposed to be an offset for the cost of us transporting the samples ourselves to Bloomington. For example, we have a teacher who lives in Bloomington, so we pay her to do driving one way when we need to. I'm not saying that money won't come, but at some point, I heard that people thought that we were doing this to make money. We are definitely not doing this as a moneymaker of any sort. We're doing this as a service to the community and trying to keep everybody as safe as possible. Next thing I wanted to highlight, we are seeing a rise in COVID cases. Currently, we have 79 students and 6 adults who are excluded, according to what's on our webpage and our COVID dashboard. Overall, we have had 94 positive cases within the district this year, this school year, 83 of those being from children and 11 from staff members. And again, I'll say that's on our webpage. The COVID-19 banner is up on the top. If you click on that and scroll down to the bottom, I'm going to do a little scrolling back and forth, but you can see those numbers. They're continuously updated. And if you don't mind, I'll go into the strategic planning information. So back on October 16th, we had a strategic planning day here at the high school. We had 28 people who were involved, and it was facilitated by Patrick Allen from the Illinois Association of School Boards. And we looked at our mission statement, and we also looked at 5 broad areas of community district relations, finance, facilities, curriculum and student achievement, and programs and services. We did a lot of work with talking about what we do well as a district and what we could improve upon as a district, and we came up with what they call broad board goals, kind of hard to say, broad board goals. We had 5 of them, and now the work comes back to the administrative team, and it's our charge to make SMART sub-goals for those 5 broad board goals. And we're working on those 1 month at a time during our administrative council time. So we're bringing to you tonight sub-goals in the area of community district relations. So our first sub-goal that we want to propose to you is to, the goal was the district will continue to improve communications with all community members. So our suggestion would be to improve communication with community members. The superintendent and building principals will establish or refresh their monthly newsletters. Upgrades will include video messaging, student participation, and sharing newsletters via all of our channels, Facebook, district webpage, and the Blue Ridge app. Some principals had not had a monthly newsletter going out to families, so they're going to start that. And others did, but it was limited in where it was pushed out to. So we're going to push that to a broader audience. And I've been challenged 2 weeks in a row. We've talked about maybe I need to do a little video clip for intro to my monthly message. So I'm going to start working on that. Let's see, goal number 1.2 was to collaborate with all communities to instill pride in our schools and celebrate our successes. So the sub-goal that goes underneath that we're recommending is to instill pride in our schools and celebrate our successes. The administrative team will conduct an evening event in each of our 3 communities during the school year that will include updates from board members, superintendent, and principals, as well as a student performance. So here's what that could look like. We'd like to schedule our first event in Bellflower on April 20, 2022. That is a board meeting night. We would ask for people to RSVP, provide light refreshments, because it would be during the dinner hour, invite Sarah Ressler, who is not only a Bellflower resident, but she's in charge of art and music over at the intermediate and junior high. Perhaps she could bring a choral group to perform, and then maybe we could have an activity where board members and administrators are spread out throughout the space, and then we have visitors rotate between us, and we ask questions like, what do you like most about Blue Ridge Schools? What are your wishes and dreams for Blue Ridge? And then we could take that feedback and incorporate that into our next steps. So those are some of the ideas that we're working on. Excuse me. In terms of community pride, we have also continued to work with Jake and Tori from Herf Jones. Continue to work on some suggestions for rebranding our logo, window wraps at the high school, and inviting main entrance signage for both the high school and intermediate junior high school. They're a little bit confusing when you look to know where to go first. And then we thought of some other community activities, like could we take some of our younger students' artwork and make those into placemats for the Farmers Cafe? Or could we do some window clings, advertising the school and our local businesses? So those are just some of the ideas that we thought would go well with community and district relations. So any suggestions? This has also been sent out to the 28 people who were at strategic planning, so they could be seeing what was developing from their work. And like I said, for the next 4 months, we'll continue to work on a new goal as we go.
Well, I think it's a good idea because it kind of takes the Blue Ridge Connect that we do usually in the spring and kind of really digs a little deeper, because the Blue Ridge Connect, as you know, was something that was a district-wide opportunity. Sometimes you would just get the same people that would show up to these type of things. And we like to hear the heartbeat of the communities. And so this is kind of nice that we're actually taking the district to each community. So we're going to make it easy. Maybe you can't come to us, but we're going to make it easy so we'll come to you. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's going to be a great opportunity. So let's do our best, not only as a district, but hopefully the communities themselves will reach out their hands as well and be willing participants in that too. Mm-hmm. All right. Is that it on those the goals then?
That is.
All right. We're moving on to the principals. We have Ryan Payton. Would you take the stand, please?
All right, so I'm just going to highlight a few things. We had our awesome K1 concert last week, which seems like an eternity ago, but it was just last Tuesday, I believe, at the Moore Gym. Students were able to sing, dance. They performed with instruments, kind of a medley of some new Christmas kind of songs, as well as holiday songs, I should say, along with some traditional songs. I wanted to thank Mrs. Weiler for all the work and preparation that she put into that program. Miss Clayton and our K1 team, they did an awesome job with rehearsals, with preparation prior to. It really was a team effort, and so I appreciate all their work. 12 Days of Cheer, that is something that we are doing currently at Snyder. So our PIE has been extremely generous in a lot of the community in putting together 12 days of just different things to acknowledge our staff. Daily gifts like a coffee bar. Today was a hot chocolate bar. Socks for every staff member one day. A candy bar, so everybody had the opportunity to get something. My favorite Slim Jims were there, so that was exciting. But yeah, very appreciated by all the staff and by me. We really do have a wonderful and generous PIE, and we are so thankful for all that they do. And then last but not least, I just wanted to highlight once again our exemplary nights this month. Lena, Lorelei, Annabeth, Abby, and then Chris, who is our aide. They are the exact reason why we do this program. I truly, I'm just very thankful to have individuals like that in our building. They do provide a very positive atmosphere, and I'm just very thankful for that. So that's where I'm at. Any questions or?
Thank you. Katie, you're next. We could read your lips.
COVID, that administration, thank you, Dave, spends on COVID, and I didn't put it in my report because I hadn't really kept track, so I did this last week, and it is about an hour and a half a day on average that I have to spend on various COVID-related tasks. And then there was one day that was pretty high. It was between 6 and 7 hours. It was a self-collection day, so it kind of varies, but it's about an hour, hour and a half each day, and a few spikes. You guys have any questions for me tonight?
And that's just you. I'm sure that your staff under you helps you as well. Yeah,
Yes. If I added up the hours that all of us spend, it's a lot.
it's a lot.
So, should I pass the mic to Brian?
Thank you. Brian, you're up. Can you hear us? You want to have a question? All right. No, I appreciate it, Brian. Thanks. Get well? Get well? Yep. Okay. We have a page here. You got a curriculum report for us?
Okay, I didn't think I had anything to add to my report, but late this afternoon, we did get word from the state that we received our 1003A grant, which is for Ryan's building, and so that's for $20,000. So we're using that money to go towards some summer programming for his students. That will pay for teachers' salary as well as some parapros and their benefits. We're going to buy some online licenses to focus on reading instruction through our Lexia program. And then we're also going to purchase some manipulatives that will assist with phonics instruction. So we were excited to get that approved, and we're ready to start using it, right? So did you have any questions on my report?
No, thank you for detail, though. In the board, in your packet, you saw the committee reports for the technology and O&M, transportation, food services. Is there anything you'd like to highlight from those, Dr. Stanifer? No, she left. Is the dishwasher about ready?
Dishwasher will be installed while the students are home over Christmas break. Doug Berkman has been in contact with KEC multiple times. They actually think that it's going to take less than 2 weeks, and they've already communicated the grease trap is going to be cleaned out during that same time period, and all the coordination is done, so they won't overlap each other. It's all going to work out.
All right, great. Moving on to approval of consent items. I need a motion, a second, to approve the consent agenda items listed on attachment A as presented.
So moved.
Is that Jason?
Yes.
Rusty? Roll call? Yes. Moving to old business, we have discussed the approval of the 2021 tax levy.
Okay, I won't go through the same presentation as last time, but I will just summarize and say that there were no changes between last month's tentative look at the tax levy and what is going to be hand-delivered to our 3 county clerks later this week. Our operating tax rate is 0.4857. That's our bond and interest tax rate, 0.4857. Operating tax rate 4.7741, and then the overall tax rate of 5.2598, very similar to what we've had in previous years, actually a tad bit lower.
All right, that's good news. So I need a motion and a second to approve the 2021 tax levy for Blue Ridge Community Unit School District 18 as presented. Kenna? Jason, roll call. Yes. Going on to new business, Alpha Controls proposal for Snyder Elementary.
Okay, so Alpha is who controls the HVAC work over at Snyder, and we are using software that is becoming obsolete, and it will no longer be able to be purchased or serviced, or they won't do anything with it as of the end of this school year, so in June of 2022. So they've come to make a presentation to us. Greg sat in on some of that, Dave Kramer sat in on some, and then they came back again when Doug was in charge. And so they've met with us again. They are offering a proposal that will expire at the end of this month. So $14,300 would include the upgraded software, the installation of the software, and also training. This system, right now, the high school is the only system that, from what I understand, Doug can control from off-site. So he can, if somebody calls him and says, hey, I need more heat in such and such room, he can do that from wherever he is instead of having to get back over here and do that by hand in-house. And we don't have that availability at Snyder because our programming is out of date. So for that $14,000 price, we're going to be up to the current technology that we have. You'll notice that in the proposal, they also said you can add on another $1,300 if we want to buy a PC from them. And I've conferred with Dave, and he said, too high, we don't need that, we can do it another way. And I have learned that you can often be compromised and have a cybersecurity issue through your HVAC system. I was Rusty saying, yep, I never would have thought of that because I didn't go to school for that, but that's a very common thing where somebody can come in and get into your system and access all your information through your HVAC system. So having some proper controls, up-to-date controls is very important.
Any discussion on that?
Alpha controls are good here in this building, and we would upgrade there, and intermediate junior high is its own beast. Yeah.
No further questions. I need a motion and a second to approve the $14,300 proposal from Alpha for software installation and training as presented. So moved. Need a second? Okay, roll call. Yes. Moving to TMI proposal for work at the Blue Ridge Intermediate Junior High School.
Okay, a little deja vu here. So right now we have 2 out of 3 compressors that are in failure in Daikin Unit 2 at the intermediate junior high. The proposed repair process will include, and this is copying from their document, recovering refrigerant, performing an oil analysis, removing compromised compressors, an invert board, installation of the new compressors, a leak check, vacuum test, recommissioning of repaired module, and installation of a data logger for 4 hours to check and make sure that everything is working correctly. Doug has been in contact with the TMI sales rep, Brooks, quite a bit, and he is very confident that once we get Unit 2 up and running properly, that we should be going in a positive direction. And I'd like to believe that that's actually the case. That would be a nice place to be. So it's a larger cost again, but we did have some space inside of ESSER 2. If you remember the Daikin repair from last summer, and also the installation of the fresh air units, and also the replacement of insulation on the roof. Those were all thrown into ESSER 2 and approved. Not all of that money was spent at that time, and so we're able to put some of this cost into that grant, which will save us from district funding to do that repair.
I just know I'm frustrated with all this Daikin stuff. It's been, since I've been on the board, I know it's been before then as well. I've seen what we've had to pay on repairs, new compressor. And I think, where do we stop and say, do we need to reevaluate Daikin? Do we even, it's going to cost an arm and a leg to change the system, but with all the money that we've spent over the years on this stuff over there, that could have put down a pretty good down payment on a whole new system. I don't know that, you guys probably know more about the structure and even thinking that way is even a viable option.
It's an option, but, I don't know where you draw the line at as far as upgrading to a different system.
Jim Gleason, one of our engineers who's been involved on the other side of the building, but also has been actively engaged with our TMI discussions. He has said, that sounds like an easy fix, but it's not. It's a
It's never
very
been
large
an easy
fix.
fix.
Yeah. I will say this, that talking to Jason a little bit before, Doug has been able to find that when we said we were cleaning the filters before, I don't believe that what we said we were doing was actually getting done consistently, if at all. And so Doug and Steve Hauser are working hand in hand very well right now, and they've done the cleaning themselves first. They are the 2 that are going to be in charge of that period, and then they're going to be recording on a spreadsheet when they did it, about estimating how dirty they were, figuring out how often they need to go back to each filter, how does harvest time impact that, and so on. So I feel like we have some forward progress that perhaps we didn't have before. We're cleaning some of the rooms that these equipment pieces are in, so we're eliminating some of the dust from getting in there in the first place. So to me, this is not the time to be thinking about a total overhaul. I definitely understand the frustration. I feel it too. But I'd like to think that there's something on the horizon that with proper care that we're going to be able to make some forward progress.
Also with this, we're not the only people that have issues with this system or the Daikin units. Monticello deals with it as well. I talked to somebody from Johnson Controls who assisted with Monticello's setup, and they have had several of the same issues that we have, and it's a constant expense that they're going through. So talking to them might be a way to get some more information and help us figure out which side of the fence we want to be on, whether to start looking at a new system or
Are they
keep
dealing
this
with TMI as well?
I think TMI is one of the only people around that you can deal with.
Right. Well, we tried to go off from them and do it through a different group, and that didn't work out well.
And that's what the fellow from Johnson Controls said. They're a very difficult system to deal with, and there's very few entities that will work with them. So I don't know if that's something to help us make a decision.
I'll let Doug know, and he can see who can reach out to at Monticello. Thank you.
Any questions from that end of the table? I need a motion and a second to approve the $24,100 proposal from TMI to replace two Unit 2 compressors, including the associated steps at the Blue Ridge Intermediate Junior High School as presented.
I have one more question, I apologize.
Okay.
Are these compressors needed for current operation, or is it something that it won't actually be used until spring? And that's just ignorance on my part, I don't.
I'm
Is it
not,
used
I'm
for
not
the
currently
heat?
hearing any issues that we're having over there with too hot or too cold. Yes. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Right now to be proper function to do this.
We're making it through right now because of our moderate temperatures, plus the fresh air units are assisting a little bit. We can get a little boost from them, but it's important for us to get this done,
Got it.
so we're prepared for what might happen in colder months.
Yeah, true. When are they going to start on it, if it's passed?
I don't know if I have the answer to that.
Okay. All right, so we need a motion and a second to approve the $24,100 proposal from TMI to replace the two Unit 2 compressors, including the associated steps at the Blue Ridge Intermediate Junior High School as presented. I said, who got it, Kenna? She came right in before you. No, he's had it before. Roll call. Yes. Moving on to review for approval, the annual audit and shared service report, which we guess we're not going to do tonight.
Correct.
Table that one.
Yep.
Otherwise, we need a motion, a second to move from open session to closed session for discussion of appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district or collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives at 7:48 p.m. Rusty? Jason? Roll call? Yes. Thank you.
Do you want to let these people go home and get to bed?
Yeah,